Let me start by saying the godox CL500R is not a polished product. With that said, it has a lot to offer. It is an RGB and a bicolor light stick that has 14 effects and a built-in battery. Welcome to All About Videography. My name is Doa Levi. In this episode, I will go over all the features and functions the godox CL500R has. I will point out the good and the bad, and trust me, there is a lot of bad with this light. But let's start with what is in the box. First off, it comes in a nice case. The case is a semi-hard case. The case interior is molded to the light stick's shape. It has a dedicated place for the remote control and the power supply. The light itself also comes with a removable barn doors. Specs: it has 360 full colors. Bicolor is 2500K to 8500K, 14 effects. It can dim from 0% to 100%. It has 6 groups and 32 channels, 5800 lux from 1 meter, CRI is 96, TLCI is 98. Battery running time at full power is 90 minutes. I was able to get over 2 hours and charging was over 3 hours. Now godox claims 5800 max lux from 1 meter. I measured the lux from 1 meter and I got around 1700 lux. To get to 5800 lux, you would have to be around half a meter from the light. By the way, the max intensity is when the color temperature is 4500 Kelvin. Next, we have the power supply. The power supply is actually a charger, and while it's charging, the light stick could be on, which is always a plus. Now, when the stick is off, there is no indication of charging on the display. The charging indication is on the power supply, red charging and green charge. To get a charging indication on the display, you could turn off the light, dim the light to 0 and wait for the battery indicator to show full. But even then, the battery indicator is not accurate. It could show full, but the charger indicator still shows red, and could be like that for at least half an hour. Small stuff, but annoying. Build quality: it is all plastic. The only thing that is not plastic on the LC500R are the thread mounts. The barn doors are doing an okay job for what it is. It can be positioned to work with the HSI side and the CCT side, but you cannot shape the light with LEDs beads unless you are very close to the wall. If anything, the barn doors assembly is more to control the light spilling. Now, removing and installing the barn doors to the light is very cumbersome. You have to line the grooves on the top and the bottom of the light and then push down the barn doors. Easier said than done. It just never happens smoothly, at least not to me. Moving to the bottom, the handle is bare plastic. I wish it had some rubbery material covering the handle, but it is not a deal breaker. But it would be nice if it had some rubbery material on the handle. Now, the light stick is not a lightweight light. It's also not a heavy light, but you will probably change your hands after holding it for a while. Moving on to the display on the light stick, the display is identical to the display on the remote control. Now, the controller was a bit confusing to me initially, but I got the hang of it after a while. However, I would much rather use the remote control over the controller on the light. Going over the controller, we have a dial to adjust the parameters. The dial also selects the modes and the dimmer by clicking up, down, left, and right. The middle FN button is a parameter select button and a booster in the CCT mode. Now, why a booster? The only thing that comes to my mind is to get a minimum 1% light intensity. Otherwise, what's the point of a booster? Why not have a 100% as a max light intensity? So the only thing that comes to mind is to make sure that the 1% is really, really low. By the way, when the temperature is 2500K or 8500K, the booster does not affect the intensity. As well, the booster works only with the CCT mode. Now let's talk about the mount threads. There's one on the bottom and one on the top. So you can actually hang it from the ceiling, or you can use it with a light stand. You can also daisy chain the lights with a thread adapter and put as many as you want and control with assigned groups and channels. Now I want to talk about remote control, something that really bothers me. The connectivity between the remote control to the light has a severe delay when adjusting the HSI, CCT, and the dimmer. There is no immediate response when you go through the colors or when adjusting the intensity, so you can forget about going through the colors when you click and hold the buttons like any regular RGB light. You will not see the colors changing. it will jump to whatever it is when clicking off the button. To see all the colors spectrum through the remote, you would have to click one click at a time to explore all the colors. The same thing is in the CCT Kelvin adjustment and the dimmer intensity. Another thing, on the remote there is an RGB mode, but it does not do anything. You can see the parameters and you can change your parameters, but it does not reflect on the light. Now the remote also has a center button. In the navigation control it says FN, but it does not do anything. The FN button on the controller on the light boosts the light's intensity in the CCT mode. So apparently there is no way to boost the light through the remote control. Now, with all the negativity of the remote, it is a fantastic remote. It is very comfortable in the hand and it is effortless to operate. There is an assign button to each one of the modes, which is a plus. Some other lights have only one toggle mode button. Let's go quickly over the remote top to bottom. First, we have the on-off power button, which will turn on and off the light. We have the battery indicator on the display, which shows the remote control battery level, not the stick light battery level. Then we have an intensity and mode indicator. The rest on the display will change according to the selected mode. In the HSI mode, you can change the colors 0 to 360 and the colors saturation. In the CCT mode, clicking the right and left arrows will change the Kelvin temperature in increments of hundreds and up and down arrow in increments of thousands. Next, we have the effects button. There are 14 effects, 12 of the effects have 3 variations. The music effects has 2 variations and the SOS just 1. To toggle between the effects, you will need to use the right and left arrow. Now, if you want to see all the effects, it will be at the end of the video. The fourth button is the channel, group, and ID. Now, the ID function is to sync this specific remote with any godox light that has ID mode function. For example, I can control the ML60 with the LC500 remote. All I need to do is match the ID number on the remote to the ID number on the ML60. Presets on the remote are very convenient. For the HSI, there are 3 presets, 3200K, 5600K, and 6500K. And for the RGB, there are 9 presets. This is to show the softness and the intensity of the light. Over here, the light is 7 feet away from the wall, intensity 100%. I check the increments 100% to 0% with a light meter, and there's no gap with the intensity. Every single increment drop changes the light intensity. So what do I think of the CR500R? Well, let's start with this. I think Godox could have done a better job, and I'm not talking about the functionality. The functionality is terrific. I can live with most of the drawbacks, but I'm very bothered by the delay between the remote control and the light sticks. And unless my unit is defective, I think it is a major flaw. Also, why not an app? Godox already has an app that works with the VL series. The app shows RGB functionality, so why not make the LC500R app compatible? I understand the remote control is convenient and it looks beautiful, but it will still be nice to use the app that also works with other lights from Godox. Also, it would be nice if it could work in both the RGB and CCT mode at the same time. I want to add, the CL500R is very impressive, if not the remote control and the barn doors installation. I don't regret getting this light and I'm not planning on returning it. I personally have this thing for remote controls. Now, if you're interested in the Godox CL500R, the link will be in the description. And just about it. Please consider subscribing to this channel to see more detailed videos as this one. Don't forget to click on the notification bell and the like button. Also, leave a comment. I love comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.
you.